In this section, I am going to explain variables and assignment operators in Java. A variable is a name for a location in memory that holds a value. Actually, variable is a space for holding data. Suppose that you need to write a program that calculates the average of 100 students' math score. Then what would be the first step for this? The first step is to create 100 spaces to store 100 scores. And you may need 2 more spaces, one for saving total and one for saving on average. These are variables. You need to create 100 variables for scores and 1 variable for a total and 1 variable for an average. So when writing a program, the first thing you have to think about is what data the program should use. And once the data is determined, it must be stored on the computer. The space to store such data are variables. So variables are very important in coding. To use variables, we need to declare variables. Declaring a variable tells the computer to create a space in memory. Variable class declaration specifies the variable's name and the type of information that will hold. So here as you see, this is a variable declaration. The first int is a data type. Int is a data type. It is integer. And total is the variable name. Total is the variable name. So this tells computer to create a space named total to store on integer data. Like this, to declare variable, we should specify the data type first, like this, int, and write a variable name. We can also create multiple variables in one line using commas, like this. So count, temp, and result are variable names, and int is the data type to be stored in these 3 variables. So multiple variables can be created in one declaration like this. When declaring a variable, we must write the data type in front of the variable I told you. So here is 3 variable declarations: int score 1, int score 2, and int total. Then in computer main memory, 3 spaces are created. One for score 1 and score 2 and total. And here, this is the data type I told you. So this means that all these 3 spaces will have integer values. And here I write garbage inside. This means that if we declare variables like this, it only makes a space, create a space. So it will hold some garbage value at the first place. So later we will store some value to here. Then at the time the garbage will disappear. I will talk about initialization. Int count is a variable declaration. So this is a variable declaration. It creates a space in the memory with garbage inside at first. So this is the first status of the count. And count is 10 means assigning value 10 to the variable count. That is, the computer stores integer value 10 into the variable count. So equal sign does not mean equality. In coding, equal sign in coding means assigning value. That is, assign the right-hand side value to the left-hand side variable. So in this case, value 10 will be stored in the left side variable, which is count. In coding, if you want to check equality, you need to use 2 equal signs. So 2 equal signs is equality, and 1 equal sign is assignment in coding. Like this, after creating a variable, assigning the value in it for the first time is called initialization. When this initialization is performed, the garbage value in the variable disappears and the new value is saved. Here, at first count has garbage, and after this initialization, the garbage will disappear and count will have 10 like this. We can also write a declaration and initialization together in one line. So these two lines can be written in one line like this. While you are coding, you need to make identifiers. For example, variable names are identifiers. Identifiers are the words used in a program. There are some rules to make identifiers. A Java identifier can be made up of letters, digits, the underscore character, and the $sign. And identifiers cannot begin with a digit. Java is very case sensitive, so these three total are different identifiers. By convention, programmers use different case styles for different types for identifiers. For example, the class name should be started with a capital letter, like Lincoln. Only the first letter should be a capital. And for constant values, we use uppercase letters. For example, maximum. You are going to learn about constants soon. And by convention, if two words are combined to form an identifier, all of them are made in lowercase, but the first letter of the second word is capitalized. For example, if we make an identifier like this, account and number, the second number should be started with a capital letter. Number, love, students. So you can make identifier like this. This is not a rule. This is kind of convention that Java programmers keep. And often we use special identifiers called reserved words that already have a predefined meaning in the language. A reserved word cannot be used in any other way. So these are reserved words in Java coding. So for example, I think you have seen public class something, and public static void main. While we write main method, always we write public static void main, something like that. So these words are reserved words. So we cannot use these words as identifiers. These reserved words you will learn soon. So you'll get to know most of the reserved words here one by one while taking this class. Let's do some quick check. Which of the following are valid Java identifiers? Think about it. Okay, the rule for identifiers are we can use letters, numbers, and two special characters. They are underscore and $sign. Except those, we cannot use any other letters as an identifier. So this is the answer. Grade is okay. All are letters. And quiz grade is okay. And network connection is okay. Frame 2 is okay, letter and number. This is not okay because identifier cannot start with a number. Maximum is okay, mean capacity is okay. This has a problem because we cannot use this sign. We only can use special characters, underscore and $. And this also has a problem because we cannot use this and character. I told you that a variable can be given an initial value in the declaration. Here, int sum is 0 is a comment that make a variable named sum that will hold an integer value and initialize it to 0. Likewise, base is initialized to 32 and max is initialized to 149. A variable can only have one value at a time. Therefore, when a new value is assigned, the old value is lost and the new assigned value remains inside. So when a variable is referenced in a program, its current value is used. And once we lost the value previously stored, there is no way that we can retrieve that data. So you must be careful when you assign some value to the variable. If you just declare a variable without initialization, it still has a garbage value. So the variable should not be output at this time. So for example, count has not been initialized. So count has a garbage value and the data is initialized to 17. So here we are trying to print out count and data. Since count has a garbage value, thus not initialized, so here occurs compile error. But data has a value 17, it is initialized, so data can be printed out. So this is the compile error message when we tried to print out garbage value. The local variable count may not have been initialized, so initialization is very important. And I'm going to talk about variable printout. Inside the parenthesis of system.out.print line, if the string is enclosed by double quotes, the string will be printed out. However, if the string in the parenthesis of system.out.print line is not enclosed by double quotes, it is a variable. So the value of the variable will be printed out. For example, variable data has 137. And I try to print out string data and just data. And computer thinks if there is a double quotes, computer thinks this is a string. So computer just print out this string. So data is printed out. And if there is no double quotes, computer thinks this is a variable. So computer prints out the value of this variable. This is the example from the textbook. So the variable keys have value 88. In print statement, at first this is a string. So a piano has just printed out like this. And then this does not have double quotes. So computer thinks this is a variable. So computer printed out the value of this variable, which is 88. And then keys is enclosed by double quotes. So keys just printed out. An assignment statement changes the value of a variable. The assignment operator is equal sign. So this is the assignment operator. So after creating a value total, we assign 55 to total. So the value that was in total is overwritten. Actually, the value was garbage. So now garbage will disappear. You can only assign a value to the variable that is consistent with the variable's declared type. So since total is declared as int, we should input integer value to the total. Let's look at an example showing the change in the value of a variable. At first, the variable size has 7. so the size is like this at the first place. So in this printout, a heptagon has, this time size is 7. So the first printout looks like this. And then the size will be updated to 10. So 10 is assigned to size. So now size becomes like this. And then we print out size once more. Then in this print statement, the decagon has here 10 size. So this is the second printout. And next size is overwritten to 12. So now 10 is gone and the size has 12. So this is the final value of size in this code. So finally, in this print statement, the decagon has 12 size. So this is the final printout. Let's see another example. When the program runs, the computer first looks for the word main. So find the main, and then first line of the main should be run at first place. So at first, the variables score 1 and 2 are created. And score 1 has 90 and score 2 has 85. And total has garbage because total is not initialized. So score 1 has 90, score 2 has 85, and total has a garbage at the first place. And then I put 93 to score 1. So score 1 will have 93. So 90 is lost. There is no way to retrieve 90 after 93 is stored. And now score 2 has 88. So 85 is lost, and then 88 is stored in score 2. And in total, this means that compute this part and then the result should be assigned to total. So 93 plus 88 is calculated. And then the value is stored into total, which is 181. And finally, we print out these three variables. So score 1 is 93, score 2 is 88, total is 181. So far, you have learned variables. Now you will learn constants. A constant is an identifier that is similar to a variable, except it holds the same value during its entire existence. So as the name implies, this is constant, not variable. The compiler will issue an error if you try to change the value of constant. In Java, we use the final modifier to declare a constant. Final. So if you write like this, this is a variable declaration and initialization. But in front of this, if you put final, then this becomes constant. So you cannot change this value or through the coding. Constants are useful for three important reasons. First, they give meaning to otherwise clear literal values. Example, this constant means more than the literal 250. Second, they facilitate program maintenance. If a constant is used in multiple places, its value need only be set in one place. Third, they formally establish that a value should not change, avoiding inadvertent errors by other programmers. I'll show you some constant examples. Here, number of students is a constant because I put final here. And we usually make a constant name using uppercase letters. And we connect words using underscore. Here I tried to change the value of number of students. then compile error will occur because this is a constant. So if we define a value as a constant, then you cannot change the value. And here I put one constant here, number of students, as 50. And number of students are 3 more places. So this means that if I change this value, then all these 3 places will be changed. So this is very good uses of constants.